Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening, watching, hearing from. This is GP. Welcome to Jump on Music UK. And in this live stream, we are going to be looking at how I did a live stream, and then I took the audio from that live stream and turned it into an album. So before we get going, a couple of things. I just want to say hi and hope you're all well. This live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by friends over at DistroKid, and they are pinnacle for this actual live stream because it's how we use to be able to get your album up there. But I'm going to actually show you how we can do this right from the get-go. And a couple of things, obviously, if you are obviously watching this on the replay, then give this a thumbs up. If you're watching it right now, give it a thumbs up. That really, really helps me and it helps the channel. And also, if you are obviously looking at releasing music, then you can do that through DistroKid. This is DistroKid's link. It gives you 7% off your first annual membership with them. Oh, excuse me. Therefore, basically, you can release as much music as you want to for a year, which is really, really good. And then also, if you are for aware, they might have seen one or two things pop up that we now have a course all about looping. I've got a couple of courses, but the big one right now is that the How to Loop Like a Pro course has gone down from $199 to 48 British pounds. So therefore, it's about $60. That is the full course from me. If you want to learn how to start looping, learn to loop like a pro, then obviously give that QR code a scan as well. And you can get that for less than the price of most looping pedals now, which is quite cool. It's really good. So hi! How are we? Hope we're well. So we're actually at the desk today. The camera is sitting on a stand, which of course every time I move my hand it's a little bit wobbly. But there we go. That's just the way it is. That's what we live with. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a couple of things. My computer is right here pointing that way. And we're going to show you a couple of things about how to extrapolate the sounds that you want and then upload them to DistroKid so you've got an album. So for those who aren't aware, I actually created a couple of albums. This is the second one. I'll put it up for you now. That's volume 2, and that's the one we're going to be talking about today. This one is actually from 2 live streams, and what I did was I just grabbed the audio of them. So if you've done a live stream, it doesn't matter whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, you can go back in and you can download it. So you can download the audio and the video. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to do that. That's quite a simple process. If you know your YouTube studio or your Facebook page or your Twitch page, you should be able to grab a piece of that audio. Now, I actually use ReStream to stream to multiple places at once. We're currently streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Hi, everyone. And they also record it as well. So they also record the live stream so I can grab it from them as well. But if you don't have ReStream, you can get ReStream completely for free. There's a link in my descriptions. And you can grab the audio. And once you've grabbed the audio, then what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to separate that audio out into separate songs, and then we need to title them, we need to bounce them down, and we need to upload them. Now, and that sounds pretty simple, but I'm just going to show you the process of what I've done. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to put the chat up. So the chat is here. So say hi, everyone. It'd be really funny if someone writes hi, everyone. But hi, everyone. How you doing? Now, whilst we're just loading one or two things up here to get this ready, as I said, like basically my How to Loop Like a Pro course is now cheaper than most loop pedals, which is great. However, you can also get the subscription, as it says in the ticker there, which is $15 a month. There is no minimum term for that. And this is the fun part when we use different systems, because hopefully you can hear me and you can hear a couple of things, and then the other screen I'm going to be showing you won't have the chat on it, so just so you're aware, it's going to look like this. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's have a look at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what everyone did in the global interruption and say that I'm going to share my screen. What you're about to see looks a bit weird. I will admit that, but I'm going to break it down for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is Logic. This is Logic Pro. Now, it doesn't have to be Logic if you don't want it to be. It can be any or digital audio workstation. I just happen to use Logic. You could use GarageBand. You could use anything that would take as many tracks as this will. So once you've downloaded your track, it would probably be really, really big, and it'll just look really, really big. So this is Looping My Brain Part 2. This is the album, as it were, in all its parts. And as you can see by hopefully you can see there from the numbers, we're in the 3000th bar there. This is all one track. Now, within that live stream, I actually do quite a bit of chatting, and we're talking to the audience, of course, as I'm doing to you now. And people put in suggestions, and we're talking about different things, and then I'm making some tunes. So the way this works is that I'm now grabbing the audio, and I've grabbed the audio, and it doesn't look like this to begin with. It looks like a completely really long, one long piece of audio. So you can actually see on this side here, if I go to all files, if I go to project files and look at the audio file here, you can see that I've literally just grabbed them and split them up into their bits, and that's what you do. So what I've done is, if I just there we go, you can see here that I've grabbed the audio file. Let me just make it a bit bigger so you guys can see it. And if you've got questions about this, please put it in the chat, and then obviously we can go through it. So the first thing here, you're going to hear this. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me just stop one thing. So I'm just going to stop the background music for now. Right, so you're going to hear this. You're going to hear it kick in. There it is. And then you may notice, if you're familiar with Logic or not familiar with Logic, you may notice I put a nice big fade there. Now, the live stream didn't start like this. It started me chatting away and everything else. And I cut it. I literally cut it to the point where I started making tunes. And then there is a bit where I messed up. And what I've done is I've cut it there as well. Little trick for you. And then by cutting it, what it means is that I can, get down to what we wanted it to sound like. And then you get to the end of the song, we go over here. And there we go. And there's the end of the song. Now, one thing, it's really, really important if you want to do this. You don't have to do it like this, but one thing that's quite important to do is make sure that you have a silence at the end, and ideally a silence at the beginning as well. So if you have a silence at the end, it means it just makes it so much easier for you. So I didn't do this on the first album of Looping My Brain. This is the second album of Looping My Brain, and I made it work so much harder for me. And what this does is it means that you can actually sit there and go, right, you give it a couple of seconds, and then you start talking again. And by doing that, what it means is that you can then go, right, that's the ending, and chop it up. And this is really important, because when you're going to turn this into an album, you need a little bit of gap in between. Now, you might not want to. You might want to, stop the gap, or definitely if there's audio where there's chatting, you want to take that out. So I've done that already, and I don't want to obviously sit there for hours and do that with you. So as you can, if I switch the cameras around, let's do that now. There we go. So you can see here I've chopped it at the certain point, and then when this one comes back in, then what we're going to do is we're going to have a play around, we're going to make some tunes, and then they're going to be gone forever. Now, I thought it'd be quite fun to keep that in, because obviously they weren't gone forever. I was able to capture them. So I've kept that little bit of chatting in. And then we scroll across, we go over to the next song, and you can see there's a gap there, and we go across, and it's just a repeating process. So there's the end of the song. Musicians, yeah, we can only count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That song is called Musicians Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then obviously if we go over to this, you can see that there will be a chop here, and there's a chop just here, there's a chop just here. And the reason for that is because during the actual live stream, I'd maybe put something in and maybe made a mistake, taking it out again, because it was a live performance. And the other thing as well, it's not just a live performance. This is the looping my brain stuff is not rehearsed. It's raw. It's made in the moment. And the whole point of this is obviously then to, you know, find ideas for new songs. And there you go, brings it back in. If I go over to this one. There we go. And there was a couple of minutes in the live stream where I was finding the right sound to put with that at the end. So that's why it's chopped up. And I've done it a couple of times here. I've done it a couple of times on this one. You can see there's a couple of different chops here right at the beginning because I was just building the track up and I was just taking too long while I was finding a sound. Now that's fine if it's a live stream. But if you're listening to it on an album, you're like, come on, you know, it's a bit boring. So, you know, if you're watching me sort of gather the sounds together or I'm talking over the top of it, then that's what you don't want. So this process just gets repeated. You just add a new track. So let me just obviously go from the beginning of this where we start with a single piece of audio, as it were. And if I just do this right now where I grab this and pull it all the way out, that right there is the entire live stream right there. And that way I've been able to chop it up into its bits. So therefore we've ended up with that. Now, top tip for you with this one, oh well, secret for this one, it's not much of a secret really, is this is 2 live streams because I actually got the audio from 2 live streams and then put them together as this one album. So further down the line, I've just looped that. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. It's that one. You'll notice that the audio waveform is different. So I picked the 2 that I liked the most, the songs I liked the most out of the 2 live streams. And therefore, I could then chop them up, add a new track, and then they're each on their own individual track. So that's the first thing. The other thing as well is I haven't really done anything with them, but let's just say the live stream's a bit thin or the sound's a bit, you know, sort of like not as full as you can be. The great thing about that is when you go into this, because they're all on their individual track, what that means is that I can then start adding, there we go, I can start adding EQs, I can start adding potential effects. Now, the way this live stream goes, I don't need to do that. Because it's just a case of it's the raw moment and that's really, really great and that's fine. Now, that's all fine and well and dandy and it's all on one thing, as it were, and it's actually really, really simple to do in that respect. So if you're familiar with your digital audio workstation, you're taking a audio file and you're chopping it up. It is as simple as that. The great thing as well is that I can see all the individual tracks. Each track there has got a name, so you can see the names of each track. I realise the DistroKid logo is in the way there. But just further down, you can see there's open and close. There's it's all out of time. There's meaning a thing, then I'm going to know. Mean a thing, sorry. Fixed pulse triangle, black hole reverb. That was actually suggested by one of the members of the live stream. Fixed per pulse triangle, black hole reverb. I think that was actually one of the names of the sounds I was using as well. So yeah, so there we go. And the great thing is, in the moment, I don't actually know what the name of these tracks are going to be. I'm doing it live in the moment, and you might not want to do that. However, if you're doing a set of your own stuff or something that's planned, then what you need to make sure you're doing is obviously play in the live stream and then make sure there's a gap at the end or a gap at the beginning. So if you're talking away and then start playing, you can't chop that out unless you've got it multi-track recording in the moment. So I would quite highly recommend to make sure that you've got a gap at the end, a gap in the middle, and then that way you can start doing it straight away. I just need to check something, and that's fine. No. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. So that's kind of the first part of this, which is literally grabbing the audio and chopping it up. Now, the other thing of course, with this, if I just go to one of them and I solo it out, oops, daisy, there we go. So let's solo the first one out, and then let's just make it bigger and bigger, and we'll go to that one. There it is, and let's go to the beginning. Okay, so the other part of this, which is going to be highly dependent, is cutting out the waffle. Now, there's a bit of waffle in this as we go to the end. So if I just pull this over here, then you'll probably hear me chatting away. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening or watching from. My name is JP. Welcome to Jump On Music UK, and there we go. So that was the beginning of the live stream. So of course I then chopped that out because I knew I was going to make a couple of seconds of silence. So I knew I could then chop it out, which is great. So then we go from one to the other. And the other thing as well is I think it's easier, much easier, to have this all on one track per song. The reason for this is because if you do it like this, then it makes your life so much easier. Let me just, whoa, there we go. Let me just bring that up to about there, and then let me bring that up to about there so you guys can see the waveforms. There we go, that'll do. So this is the live stream. Now the thing is, I will then grab just that and then I will bounce it down. So on Logic it's literally Command B. So if I go Command B, a new page comes up, which I've just realized you can't see because it's not letting me show you. Let me just do that. There we go. How am I going to show that to you? Let's just do right, let me just stop sharing for a second and then I'll start sharing again. Entire screen, yes, there we go. That's probably going to be better, isn't it, if I do entire screen? Let's do that, and then let's do that. So hopefully now you can see the entire screen, and that's the wrong screen. That's the bit we're going to get to in a minute. We are going to get to that bit. Let me share entire screen. Where's it gone? Yes, that one. Share. Oh, it's being weird. Fine. Okay. Stop sharing screen. Fine. Anyway, if I was to... there we go. Oh, it's because it's full screen. That's why. Silly. There we go. If I do that. We'll get there in the end, don't worry. In the meantime, whilst I'm doing this, of course, you can comment what you think. Window. No, entire screen, share. There we go. Great, cool. Now, the reason why I'm doing it a bit like this, apologies, my screen's obviously a really big size, so I'm just going to get rid of any other distractions. There we go. So now you've got this. If I was to go Command B, there we go. You can hopefully see that now. It's probably going to be really tiny to you, and I'm sorry about that. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce this down as a WAV format. WAV format's always going to be better. However, there is a caveat with that, and the caveat is if you've already downloaded it and it's like, well, it's MP3, there's no point obviously going to, you can go to WAV, but it's not going to increase the quality or anything like that. Whereas, you know, you've got 32-bit float 4.1, whereas if you download a WAV, then yes, it's worth obviously being in WAV, but then MP3 is MP3. You've just got to be aware of that, and it's just what it is. It's just the way it is. And then you're going to you're going to bounce. I'm having real fun with sharing screens today. There we go. Boop. There we go. So you're going to bounce just this bit. So that's why I've just selected that. And this is why it makes it so much easier to do it on separate tracks, because you can then obviously go, right, that's called show me when it's good. That's the track. That's it. And then because you've got a gap, it's not going to play anything else underneath. Then once you've done that, you then grab them and bounce that one down, then grab them and bounce that one down, etc., 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 until you have the full track. So we've got 14 songs here, and then you've got those 14 songs ready to roll. Now then, thank you. Useful. There we go. Great. So having fun today. Let's get a little bit of background music back up and running. So that's the first bit. The first bit is obviously grabbing the audio and then separating out the track, but not just separating out the track. If you've played your own track and it's fine and it's all structured and everything else, great. With me, it was a little bit more work because I have to chop up the bits that are maybe a bit too long for an album, maybe a bit too long for the process It's fine when it's live, but it's kind of, you know, if you're listening to it, you'll be like, oh, this drum beat's going on forever and nothing's changed. So it's more of an attention span thing. And then the other thing as well is to keep them on separate tracks on your digital audio workstation, whichever one you're using, and then bounce down just that one track. You might want to, you could mute the others if you wanted to. It's up to you. You could have them all starting at the beginning. I just prefer to have them sort of, you know, separated down in the order that they were in. It just makes it easier. But you could mute the other tracks. That's not a problem at all. And then, yeah, I just need to check something. Oh, that's why. Okay. Just technical stuff. Talk amongst yourselves. Disconnect. Reconnect. What are you doing? Okay. That's fine. All right, sound. Thanks for the interlude. There we go. Whilst we're talking about an interlude, obviously we're going to the second half of this, which is being able to upload your stuff. And we're going to use these guys. We're going to use DistroKid. So DistroKid is a music distribution company. So I've said this many times, but if you want to put your music out to the World Wide Web, as it were, how old am I? Then what you need to do is you need a music distributor. So you can't just throw it at Spotify. You need to actually have a music distributor in the middle, or you become a music distributor, which is incredibly expensive. So what you do is you get a music distributor in this form, DistroKid, and they push it out to all those different places like Apple Music, like Spotify, like Deezer, Pandora, Tidal, iHeartRadio, and all the other ones. And what they do is they charge you, not every time you release music, but they charge you a subscription, which is charging you once a year. So by doing that, it means you can release as much music as you want to. So that, you know, sort of the baby that is your EP or your album. And then you really do something like this, where you're releasing a live stream as an album or as a single, then it costs you no more, and which is amazing. I mean, it costs you literally less than 5 or 6 coffees a year to do this, and we can get you 7% off as well. Now, $22.99, that is the price for musicians, or musician, as it were. And that is just the normal one that you can do. The other one you can do with DistroKid is you can do Musicians Plus. And Musicians Plus basically is where you can where you can have more than one artist. You can have 2 artists. So there's me as John Paul, there's me and my mate Greg. We're Tokyo Wasteland. He came up with the name. I wish I had. And what you can also do with the Musicians Plus one is you can schedule the date of the release. With the Musicians one, you just release it and then they bring it out when they're ready, which is in a couple of weeks. But then you could say, well, actually, I want it on the 1st of this month. As long as it is a couple of weeks, and you do have to give it 3 or 4 weeks, and the kind of rule of thumb is a month. Give it a month. So the day you upload it, you know, don't expect it to be on Spotify or Apple Music like next week. They are pretty quick, but it might get there. But it's more if you wouldn't want to do that anyway, because you probably want to do a little bit of marketing with your release. So you want to give it time to people to do pre-sales and things like that. So what you would do is you would obviously release it about, you know, a month before, and then you would then have the release date. Hey, it's like a party, and then you'd have a month afterwards, and then basically that month afterwards you go in, promote, it's out, go listen to it. However, DistroKid actually are a music distribution company, and of course they will help you release your music. Now, it is on you to upload your music and stuff, but when I say help you, every time you release something, they create what's called a hyperfollow page, and we'll go into that in a minute. I'll show you what it is. And it means that you don't have to go, are you on Apple Music, or are you on Deezer, or are you on Spotify? It doesn't matter. You just give them the link, which you can do with, you can easily generate a QR code these days. You can just give them the link, and then they choose how they listen to it. It's like a landing page for your every single one that you do. There's a landing page for it, which is great. There's also promo cards as well, and we're going to go into these now. So we're going to go into the sort of the back end of my account. just to show you what it looks like, but also just to show you how you would upload it from a point of what we're doing here today, which is taking a live stream, chopping all the songs up from the live stream. Imagine instead of a live stream, it's a live show, or you've recorded from your desk, you've recorded the live show as well. So this would appeal to that as well. Before we do that as well, if you are looking at looping, which is what I do, and this is what this album is, it's Looping My Brain, then this is the QR code for scanning my course on how to loop. It is now cheaper than most loop pedals. It's gone down to £48, British pounds that is. I know it says it used to be $199, because it did. It used to be $199 to begin with, and then it was actually two courses that got smashed together. So massive value there, just £48, and then by buying that you're directly helping me out because you're buying for me, and also I'm giving you a load of tutoring as well. So thank you very much for those who have got the How to Loop Like a Pro course already. Very, very honored that you have trusted me with that, and that's great, and we're getting some great feedback about that as well, which is fantastic. Now then, let's go into the back end of DistroKid. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like. There we go. And I'm going to show you what we are going to do with it. So there is the album. There is Looping My Brain again. That was Looping My Brain. And that's Looping My Brain again. Live, raw, and unrehearsed part 2 and part 1. Now, I did have to put this down as saying this is a live album. Okay, so it is a live album. Even though it was in this room, it was live, and it was lively presented, as it were. So if you were to do this, this is kind of where your stuff is. There's Tokyo Wasteland. There's some of my singles, including Carol of the Bells, which are all going to be playing in December. And then you've got Loop My Brain, Stray, Whiskey Jar with Joe, which is a great track. And Joe's got an amazing voice. You want to hear a nice, cool, Scottish, husky voice, go and listen to Whiskey Jar. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at stuff. So you've got promoting stuff, you've got managing stuff, and then you've got uploading stuff. So then what we're going to do is you can upload a video, and then you can upload some music, and you can also master a track as well. So from this one page, which is your landing page, you either upload... Oh, thank you. Someone's liked my reel. You either upload, and then you go upload music or upload video. Now, if you're doing video, that's DistroVid, and that is a different account. So you do need a different account for that. I think at the moment, is it $99 a year? But if you think about the cost of uploading videos, that's really cheap. You get your own Vivo account as well, like the official you Vivo, with DistroVid, and the master of track is Mixia. So you upload the track as you normally would, and then Mixia will master that track for you. So if you go into that, you can see there upload, and then drag it in there, and it uploads it. I've used it. It's quite good. It's quite easy to use. And then if you go upload video, there you go. So DistroVid, and then you need to obviously upload from there. But the one we're looking at today is we're looking at upload music. So of course that's our main one. Now with the music one, what you're looking to do is you're basically saying, well, this is the point where you need to choose or think about, is it your own music or is it a cover? The reason is twofold. One, if you upload to YouTube Music or all these different ones and everything else, like Spotify, Deezer, Swan, Tencent, Adapter, Flow, I didn't even know these existed, honestly. You've also got, you can see here that you've got social media, Pandora, you've got Instagram and Facebook, you've got Snapchat, and I think TikTok is around here somewhere as well. There it is, TikTok and other ByteDance stores. You'll notice Snapchat is deselected, and the reason for this is if you select it, a big pop-up comes up saying, do you own the track? Because if it is a cover, you cannot upload it to Snapchat at the moment. And that's for using in things like stories, reels. So you could upload to Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and then when you use your track, it's getting played. So you hear people use music in the track, and therefore you're getting paid for people to use it in their reels. That's great. Anyway, this track is 14, this album is 14 songs deep. Okay, has this album been previously released? For this example, we're going to say no. Artist name John Paul, and then you have these. Now, it started only when they did this about 2 years ago. It only started with Spotify and Apple Music. Now they've got YouTube Music, Instagram, Facebook, and you go and find your own account. And then once you've done that, it remembers it, which is really handy because it means it's connected to all of these. And also what it means, really importantly, my name is John Paul, JOHNPAUL. Can you imagine how many other John Pauls there are out there? There's John Paul Jones, there's John Paul, there's another John Paul that I know of. There's a couple of others as well. So if you've got a really unique name, like a unique band name, chances are you're not going to basically get muddled in with someone else. At the very, very beginning, I know that there's another John Paul because me and him both got muddled in together and our music interlaced. So if you went searching for John Paul, you would find me and him as the same artist. So then they needed to separate us. So and that's fine. It was able to do, DistroKid was able to sort that pretty quickly. But now, because they can find you as an artist or find you on your account, it means that it's much easier. It's well worth doing this because you only do it once. And then when you come back and upload more music, it remembers you. It's like this release will appear in Apple Music alongside other John Paul releases, and it means John Paul, you or me, as opposed to anyone else. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to put the release dates. The release date is not going to be September the 24th. It's going to be October the 30th because I want it to be at least 4 weeks in advance if I was to do it today, for example. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 weeks from now is the 22nd. So that's fine. So if I did the 30th, obviously, you've got things like, people will obviously mention about releasing it on a Monday or releasing it on a Friday. So that would be Friday the 1st of November. And then that way it's on a release Friday. I hope that makes sense. Then you can also release the time, Spotify only. So you can say what time it's released. But to be honest with you, you just release it at midnight all around the world. It's fine. And you can see here, time synchronization, the listener's time zone, or basically simultaneous to everyone else. Now, I've actually put it down as the listener's time zone. So if I say it's out on midnight, then it's your midnight, not my midnight. I hope that makes sense. You've then got pre-order, whether people are allowed to pre-order it on Amazon and iTunes. Because I've got the Musicians Plus tier, where I'm able to change the name that the record label is. The record label isn't DistroKid, it's John Paul Music UK. And then you can also choose things like the album price. Now, these things are on the Musicians Plus tier, but let's be honest, the Musicians Plus tier is $39.99, whereas the other one is $23.99. It's 13 quid a year. It's like $1, what is it, $1.10? Like difference a month. Like, it's well worth going to the Musicians Plus so you can do things like pick the release date, even that, and you actually get 2 artists, so it's well worth doing. Then what you would do is you'd go, what's the primary genre, and you've got basically a big drop down box, which of course it's not showing because I'm showing the window, not the screen, which is really annoying. And then you've got another drop down box as well, and then you've got the album artwork. Now, this is really easy. All you do to basically build something, where are we? To build something like that, okay, that was one of those apps where I throw my face in and then it goes, here's 50 versions of you. I picked one of them, okay, which is that one, because let's face it, doesn't look too bad. That's the real face. And then I just went onto canva.com and then just said, right, I need a 3000 by 3000 pixels JPEG. Drop that in the middle, and then this is a background. You can actually find this background on Canva. And then I'll just get rid of the hang on a minute, I'll just get rid of the ticker. So where's the ticker gone? Ooh, they've moved things. Is it under design? No. Captions. There it is. No, they haven't moved things. I just can't see it. There we go. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So you can see I've got John Paul there, and then volume 2 at the top. These are actually the Glow is the one at the top. I can't remember what the one at the bottom was. And they're just on Canva. So the great thing with that is I was able to use that for things like this and this, and just use the same look. So then you know it's me, looking moody and, you know, with a lot more hair. And then that was the image upload. So then when we go over to uploading the image, we upload it here, and then select an image and then pick it, and that's it. It's as simple as that. So if you make sure you've got it, that was made completely for free on the free Canva app. You know, I wasn't even on the pro version or anything like that. You could probably hear me bashing my keyboard at the moment. I'm trying to find I've got it saved somewhere. Where are you? It's here. It's in this folder. So as I'm talking to you, come on. There's the whiskey jar one. Oh, it's not here. Okay. It'll be in downloads then. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If I was to basically, obviously, select something in there, that's fine. Then we've got the album title. Looping my brain again. And then this is where it all starts separating out. So this is track 1. And then what track 1 does is it goes, right, what's the track name? Don't include featured artists, add them below. If it's a cover song, don't include the original artist's name. No years or dates. Add featured artist to this title. If there are featured artists or not, maybe there is. So when we did Whiskey Jar, I added Joe as the featured artist. Then add version info to the song. Is this the normal version? Yes or no. Is this the radio edit? Well, this was a live album. So I just went, no, this is the normal version, because that's what it was. And then once you've bounced your stuff down from your digital audio workstation, this is where you would actually go and grab it. So make a folder, put them all in a folder, and then go and grab it from here and pick the album, and that's fine. So on my desktop somewhere, there we go, desktop, I've got the album, Looping My Brain Part 2. So I'm going to add that. And there we go. There is Show Me When It's Good, number 1. There we go. Done. In fact, is that where the image is? Probably is. Because, you know, I'm so organized. No, it's not. That's okay. Well, I'll tell you what we can do. We can use a different image. Why don't we use... There's an image for my holiday. We'll use that. There you go. As long as it's square, as long as it's like, you know, it says recommended images, you can't really go wrong with this. It literally gives you the information right there, what you need to do. You need to make sure you own this artwork. Stores will reject artwork with web URLs, blah, 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 or poor logos. Or prices or store logos. Don't put iTunes or Spotify logo on the artwork. Please don't reuse the same artwork for multiple albums. So on that basis, I'm just going to come out of this for a second, because if I go back to my site, as it were, that looks very, very similar, but actually it's not, because if you go to this one, that's the album artwork for Looping My Brain again. And then this one was the original one. This is the one, you notice one's purple, one's red. So they are technically different. There we go. So let me go back to upload music. Where were we? We were here. Yeah, so the other thing as well is obviously upload your audio file. The next thing really now is spatial audio or Dolby Atmos, Apple Music and Tidal. So obviously Apple Music now have spatial audio. You've got Dolby Atmos, you've got Tidal as well. So enable spatial playback on next-gen audio hardware and headphones, plus earn increased royalties on Apple Music. At the moment, if you've got access to things like spatial mixing, and Logic does this, if you upload a track that's unspatial, at the moment Apple Music are paying more for people who listen to the spatial track than the normal one, because they're trying to promote their own stuff, right? And that makes sense. So it is worth your wait to actually then do that if you have access to it. If it's going to cost you a fortune to do, then don't worry. But it does say there, earn increased royalties on Apple Music. Let me just see if it does have the information there. No, it's just basically how to... If you click that link, by the way, it's quite good. It actually gives you, ironically, a YouTube video about intro to Dolby Atmos mixing at home, which is quite cool, quite useful. So at the moment, no, this is just a stereo recording, or yes, I have a version mixed in Dolby Atmos I'd like to upload in addition to it, which is really cool. So you can go, yes. So you have your normal audio track, and then you've got the ADMBWF file. That is a that is a spatial mix file. Now, if you upload it, look at this, and be very careful with this. $26.99 each. It's $26.99 each to upload that file. So you have to weigh up if this is a 14 track album, and you're uploading that, it is $26.99 each as a one-off fee. So be careful with that, obviously. But it does mean that your stuff is there. If we say no to that, let's go back up to just uploading your audio file. You'll also notice it says already have an ISRC code. An ISRC code is basically what identifies your song from any other song in the world. And think of it like a serial number. So your song then has a serial number, no matter who released it. So I've got songs with different people. I've got songs that are released through different distributors in the past, and they've got an ISRC code. And I can grab that ISRC code and then look at the history of it, look at the footprint of it, which is really, really good. You can also bring ISRC codes over, as you can see. So if you've had an album from a different distributor and maybe you are not happy with that distributor and you want to go over to this one, then you can bring the ISRC code over. It's a little bit like bringing your telephone number over from one network to another. Think of it like that. You bring in still the same number, but it now moves over to them as well. So you can do things like that. You also notice it says master your track with Mixia. So of course, if you haven't yet mastered it, they can give you that option. Then you've got Songwriter. I wrote this song. We've skipped over. We've talked about spatial. Songwriter. I wrote this song or managed the song, the writers, and it's an original tune, or it's a cover. Now, this is what I've done. I've done this twice now for my own self. I've done one with for the Foo Fighters track, Everlong, and I've done Carol of the Bells, which is actually not a traditional song. It does have a composer. So, cover songs are okay if you performed and recorded yourself, but the music was written by someone else. For example, when your band plays Smooth Criminal, written by Michael Jackson, it's totally okay. DistroKid makes it easy and legal to sell covers. However, sampling, not okay. Remixes, not okay. Okay, so if you're sampling stuff in your track, it's a no-no. You will get into trouble. For example, if you use the 1971 recording of Led Zeppelin's When the Levee Breaks as your drum track, that's not allowed unless you have permission from the original artist. And that's the key one there. If you've got full permission by that artist and they say, yes, you can release this with this sample or with this drum track or with this guitar solo or whatever, then that's fine. So, for example, there's a Dua Lipa track that uses a previous sample, that one, and that's also a previous sample from something in the 1930s. So they obviously got the information to say, yes, you're allowed to use that, and that's fine. That's fine. And then what happens is DistroKid will secure a license for you on behalf of the third-party vendor, which basically they use Harry Fox Agency, HFA, which are these guys, and then that way basically they are able to send the royalties to the right person for the right amount. If you do a cover, and that's absolutely fine, DistroKid will automatically deduct a legal mandated fee of 9.1 cents per song sold in the US from your earnings to send to HFA, who then send it to the songwriter. You'll get 100% of the rest. Additionally, there is a fee, and this basically is $1 a month, which is normally paid annually, so $12 billed on your card. And this is to manage the cover, okay, to obtain the license, to pay the original songwriter, and do the things described. It says here and here, and that's a very, very long form. But If you're doing a cover songs are okay. You're happy to do it as long as you are aware that some of your royalties will be taken because obviously you didn't write it. And then also that there is a fee involved, which is $12 a year. If you didn't know, and it is actually your own tune, which all of mine are, these ones that we're talking about today, I'm talking about obviously uploading, looping my brain, then that's fine. This is where you would put in the songwriter's real names and real details. And of course, you can add another and add another. So if you've got band members, you can add you all in. That's fine. Does this, and this, we're still on track 1, by the way. Does this have explicit lyrics? Yes or no? Is it a radio edit? No, this song is clean and always has been. Or yes, there is an explicit version of this song, but this is the clean one. So if you click no or yes, then of course they can figure that out. Is it an instrumental? And then also, this also is very useful. Preview clip start time. So you might want to basically just leave this alone, but if you know a very specific part that's super catchy, really useful for TikTok, then it will actually preview it at that time. So you need to know the minutes and seconds that it's going to kick in, maybe on the chorus where you've got like something quirky going on. It did say let streaming services decide for TikTok, Apple Music and iTunes, or you can specifically say like in 2 minutes and 24 seconds, that's when I want you to boof and hit it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Then you've got track pricing. Now this comes with the Musicians Plus tier, and obviously you can pick the track price between 69 cents, 99 cents, or $1.29. Okay. Now at the moment, this one we've said is, because I came out of it and went back again, like how many songs? Okay, so that was just one song. If we say it's 14 songs, as we said before, if I scroll down now, it's probably got rid of the stuff we were doing. But when you start putting stuff in, you've then got track 2. Then you've got track 3, track 4. Now, don't be disheartened by that, because what you can do is you can turn around and say, well, all of these are the same artist, all of these are the same information, and you can duplicate them that way as well. So you can do it like that, which is really, really good. Then once you scroll past all of this, there's track 14, and you've done all that, there are some optional extras. Now these extras are, again, it just says they're optional but awesome, and I've done a couple of these over the years depending on what you want to do. The big one is the social media pack, and this is the one where you need to have a think. So basically you've got the discovery pack first. We'll get to that one in a minute. Discovery Pack basically adds the album to global databases that people use to match music and artists. You know, when people go, what's that tune? And they use things like basically use things like Shazam and things like that. So song recognition in millions of automobiles, grace notes, recognition in sound, scan, JAXA, and an audio footprint. So therefore, no one can turn around and go, this isn't your tune. That is $13.86 a year. It's a really random price, but that's the way it is. Store Maximizer basically will automatically deliver this album to new online stores as they add them. So if DistroKid suddenly get a brand new store that suddenly is brand new and it gets added to the DistroKid roster, then they can obviously get your music to newer places. I'll go over social media pack in a second, but basically leave a legacy, one-time fee, $49. Basically, if you're no longer here, even if your credit card's declined, the album never gets deleted. You can always choose to delete at any time or not. You will continue to accrue all royalties as normal and protect it for future generations, aka, let's be just really plain here, when you're dead. Okay. And there we go. Oi, Piers, how we doing? Just seen Piers has dropped in. Yeah, I'm hoping. I really want to see that. It's on a short. I will go and watch that later. The cat brought down the backdrop while you're mid-song while live streaming. About the only YouTube short I've ever uploaded. Love it. And you kept singing. What absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. There we go. DJ Normal Norman. Hello. So yeah, so obviously you've got Leave Us Legacy. Now, the other one here is loudness normalization, $2.99 one-time fee times how many tracks you've got, but it's non-reoccurring. What this does, it optimizes. I can't speak, put my teeth back in. It optimizes the audio levels for streaming services per Spotify's recommendations, which is minus 14 decibels or so many and integrated LUFS. So if you get into LUFS, it's quite a industry standard thing these days. But you can do that with your track. So it, obviously, if you imagine you're listening to something by a big artist from a big album, and they've got the maximized normalization of loudness that they can, and then you listen to your track and it's lower. Customers, will be turning up their phone or their system. I can't quite hear, and then the next track's really loud. So it just normalizes it for you, which is really, really good. But obviously it's $2.99 per track, so you'd be aware of that. Now, the big one, social media pack. This is something you really have to think about depending on what kind of musician or, shall I say, content creator you are. Get notified and paid when your music is used in content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, this has changed because it used to be YouTube. And now it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So they've added this in, and it's $14.95 a year plus 20% of the platform ad revenue. So it says here, we automatically detect matches and pay you ad revenue from the videos that use your music. Now, you might not think as a musician that's important, but if someone uses your music in the background and that video goes viral, okay, and it has 1 million plays, that you're going to get 20% of that. You're not going to get 20% of 1 million, but you're going to get 20% of those 1 million plays. So if your music isn't doing well, it could actually change that. It could launch you. I mean, people go, oh, what's that track? Or who is that artist? And then that's on you to jump on that. But the fact as well is that you might not want to do this, because the other thing as well is it says your music will be added to YouTube's Content ID, music creator music, and Shorts music library. And that's for other people to use. TikTok's music ID recognition service, Instagram's monetization with Meta Rights Manager, and Facebook's Meta Rights Manager. And the reason why you might not want to do this is exactly what happened to me, which is I'm a musician as well as a content creator. I'm live streaming right now on YouTube and Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel that we monetize, and that's all fine. And then I play my own song and get a copyright strike because I'm getting copyright striked on my own track. So I'm getting 20% of the platform ad revenue, but taking 20% away from myself. So on that basis, you might not want to do that. However, if you're not on, you're not making a YouTube channel or anything like that, or you're not doing a Facebook thing, or you're just on Instagram, and then someone on TikTok uses your track, you're missing out. So it's totally worth doing. Now, if you do tick this, all these requirements basically come up and says, I created all the sounds myself. My album does not contain beats, loops, sound effects, or other audio downloaded from sample libraries or other public sources, GarageBand, Ableton, blah, 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 blah. I will not permit other artists to remix or use part of my music, as it may cause a claim conflict. My album has not been uploaded by another collaborator. I did not use the songs from audio public domains, TVs, movies, games. I did not use audio from other social media sites. Social platforms are really serious about this stuff. If any of the previous statements are found to be untrue, you understand that my DistroKid account may be suspended. So, and worst case, I'll be liable for any fees, legal or otherwise, that may occur. Who wrote the music? Tell us how much to pay. It's okay if you didn't write it all yourself. Please choose one. So it's I wrote all the music. I wrote part of it. This album only contains cover songs. So it's really important that you look at that. The other thing as well is, if I tick that, let me just see if it does change it. Yeah. If I tick that or not, if you have a look at the checkbox here, right at the very, very top, we ticked YouTube Music. Okay, and this bit is separate because now right at the bottom it says I selected YouTube Music, so I want email DistroKid later saying, why did you upload my music to YouTube? And what happens is you get a topic page. So there's actually a John Paul topic page. You can go searching for it. I don't run that. That's run through DistroKid. So they upload it themselves because they want people to just play music throughout the day, and it just gets thrown into playlists. So you have to be careful with that. And obviously, that's it. You've selected that. No problem at all. That's fine, mate. No problem at all. That's a key way making money off music and modern internet, isn't it? It is, absolutely, yes. Because it's one of these things where musicians have to realise that you have always needed to do video. I've been having a conversation from a friend of mine, and we were like, oh no, like you need to constantly make movies and music. You've always needed to make movies, or you've always needed to make video. It's just that you've never had to do it before. So, for example, let's go back to the 80s and 90s. MTV, you had to make a music video to succeed. If it wasn't on MTV, you didn't succeed. And then it's always been more better and visual to see someone while they're playing music as opposed to just listening to music. So you've always got that you need to make videos in some way. The difference is now is a lot of content creators have got to do that themselves. They don't have a big label or a video production company to make them a load of music for them. So there's loads of things like that. Now, important checkboxes. Actually, before we get to that, let me just see what Pierce is saying. Doesn't DistroKid have the option to pre-clear certain channels for using your music? Yes. If we go right back to the top, that is exactly what that is, services. So if you get, say, TikTok, Instagram and Facebook, your music will go on there. And then obviously if other people are using it, that's fine because then you're getting paid. So I know I've challenged a copyright claim for a song on stream that was performed by a guest on my stream when the guest was the person who wrote and recorded it. Claims were withdrawn promptly. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I know I've said about all these different things and these things that sound a bit scary. The thing as well is, you have the option to, with most of these places, they have a process for you to, check these or, submit things for conflict. So there's no problem with that. So let's go back over to the checkbox thing. I selected YouTube Music, fine. Non-standard capitalization, I love the way they do that. Detected. Apple Music may convert standard capitalization per paragraph 3.21 in the Apple style guide. I won't use promo services that guarantee streams for playlisting. Basically, what they're saying there is they're actually trying to help you there. Don't pay for plays. Don't pay for plays because they use fake stream bots, and you're just gonna get hit. They're gonna disable your account. I record this music. I record this music and I'm authorized to sell it in stores worldwide and collect royalties. I'm not using any other artist name, so we'll tick these. There we go. I'm not using any other artist name in my name, song titles, or anything without approval, and I've read the DistroKid distribution agreement. Have you read it? I have. So you need to make sure you got all these ticked, basically, and then of course it'll charge your credit card if you've added these things on. So let's add everything on now for a 14-track album, and then I will need to pay. Yep, that's fine. Let's just tick all these. I wrote it all myself. $127.62. sense. That is to leave a legacy, do normalization, have content, social media pack, store maximizer, and discovery pack all in one go. Now, the reason it's so much is because a couple of these, like for example, this one, it's gone from 85 to 127 because it's $2.99 times 14. So, and then, yeah, it depends on what you want. So, if I was to do all of them, then this album's going to cost me $127.62, and that's okay. You've got to realize that people go, oh my God, that's so much money. It's like, how much was your last guitar? How much was your last piano? Or how much was a pack of strings? To release an album for that amount of money and have it like sounding great, it leaves a legacy in case your band splits up or you don't have access anymore or you pass away. You've got the store maximizer, you've got a discovery pack, social media pack. That's fine. However, if I deselect all of these, which I will do now, 0. And you can still release your music. It's still going to get you the release that you want. They're just optional extras. And then once you've released it, it's out there. There we go. Now, here's the cool thing. Sorry, I just had a big slug of tea. This is true. Making music videos is cheaper than it's ever been. I've done 2 videos about making music videos. I've done one about making music with a gimbal and one actually an idea. I didn't actually do a music video. It was just an idea concept at the time, which was only a couple of weeks ago, with this new £169 drone. You could have it fly around you while you're playing. Obviously, there's no sound with it, so you could just marry it up to the sound afterwards. That not using an artist name thing is a bit of a challenge if you're recording Prince, Heathen, or something similar. How much does your microphone habit run to? well, there we go. Yeah. So basically with this now, if I go over, let's just say we release this now. This bit here, you can see my mouse moving around. I can't really highlight it, but this bit here would be yellow, okay, because it's not out there yet. You've only just pushed it there. So then if I click on this, you can see it's got a UPC code and everything else, and that's all fine. And you can see that it's actually said it's successfully processed and delivered to stores. I can edit the release. I've got an ISRC for every single track. I can add lyrics if I want to. I can do credits, downloads. There's a fun thing called Vizzy and Marcel. So if you know Marcel from Friends, they actually put it where he puts the CD in and presses the button. You can make it sound like he's playing the track. You can split the track. You can split the album. Edit the split. So if it's a band, then you can split it. There's my label. I can add to more stores if I want to. So if I add to more stores, click add. That's fine. You can do that straight away. And we can add. It says not all stores provided us with links. That's fine. So you can see there's a store that's added. Claro is still there. Which one got added then? Anyway, but basically, yes, you can add to there, and then you've got hyperfollow, then you've got maximizer, and you still can add them extras if you want to. I didn't. I added the store maximizer, so it will automatically go to new stores. I thought that was quite good to do. And then you've got hyperfollow. So I'm going to go back to your main page, as it were, because what they've now done is they've done this new thing which says promote or manage. And this is really cool because you just go in to the back end of your music page on DistroKid, go to promote, playlist, spotlight, get voted. Let's do that now. So what you can do is basically you can vote for, you can listen to different tracks and vote for them, which is really cool. And you're helping other artists out, which is really nice. Then you've got hyperfollow, and hyperfollow is where you have a landing page. So if I go to this one, I can actually just go and click on that, and then straight away I will need to stop sharing my screen and start sharing my screen again. There we go. So now I've clicked on that link. There it is. and they're the places I wanted it to be. So it's on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, or Amazon. I haven't put it on Deezer yet. I should really do that. And then you can get a preview of each of the tracks. It just generates the waveform, and there it is. And it's got a nice little thing. You can customize this as well. So you can actually say, well, manage the page. Maybe you've got a YouTube video to go with it, and you could add the video in. I've done that for one or two of the other ones. So if I go to this one, where is it? There it is. If I go to this one, share. So this one was the one I did for the Foo Fighters. Not for the Foo Fighters, obviously. I did this one for a copy of a Foo Fighters song called Everlong. I did a Ghost piano version. And as you can see, there's the places you can go and listen to it. But there is the YouTube video of that song. So I did it live in this very room with the old desk, bless it. And yeah, so you can see that's there. So you can add that in if you want to. The other thing as well is you've got, if you go back to the hyperfollow, go back to the main part, you've got a hyperfollow for everything you release, which is really, really clever. And then also you've got promo cards. So if you want to start making music, and maybe you've done stuff on Reels, okay, so like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram Reels, you've got a lot of promo cards. So let's pick a release. Let's pick loop in my brain again, and then go generate promo cards. Here we go. There we go. Look, it's coming out in for Halloween. And these are perfect because they're the perfect size for using them for social media. And I've done this. I've used these a lot. I used there's a tree one somewhere as well that I used quite a lot when I did the album called You and Me, because You and Me is sitting in a tree and there's a back picture of the trees. So there's a couple of different ones. There's some new ones now. There's a brick one which is quite cool. It looks like an old poster. I quite like that. And there's enough space there. You don't have to put anything on, but you could put a link. You could put the hyperfollow link as the link on Instagram and use that. They've got those. You've got promo cards. You've also got a Spotify canvas generator, and you've got playlists there. So check obviously information for putting your songs on playlists. But this is under the ultimate package, and be aware, do not pay for streams. Simple as that. When you go manage, you can manage the lyrics, the credits, the distro lock, so you can protect your music from unauthorized releases. Your vault, all free unlimited backups of all your music files. You've got Fixer, so move music on and off your page and streaming services. You've got a page defender as well, so monitor your music profile on major streaming services, and the RIAA Gold and Platinum monitoring as well. Do you qualify for an official plaque for Gold and Platinum releases? That's quite cool. But I wanted to showcase this for you today because I've had a couple of questions about sort of releasing music, and as people are sort of like gearing up to release for things like Christmas and release even further for 2025, I thought it was about time we revisited this as an idea. And I wanted to showcase that actually it's never been easier before, because if I do a live stream of my shows, I can take that live stream, chop it up into its bits, master it down, or bounce it down, I should say. I could master it with Mixia and then release it. It's as simple as that. So, on that basis, if you are looking to actually release your music, then this QR code has been there the whole time. This is DistroKid, and DistroKid are the sponsors of this live stream, and they are a music distribution company. You've just seen the back end of it and how it works. There's loads in there. There's loads of things where you've got loads of like special stuff. There's meme generators, there's just the promo cards, mini videos, so you can throw things onto Instagram and everything else. There's loads on there. You can get things. One of the latest things at the moment is you can get your TikTok artist account. So you can have your artist account exclusively on TikTok, which is quite cool. And then the other thing as well is they've partnered up with Bandzoogle. So if you don't have a website, you can actually get a a music-based, which you can sell your ticket sales, your merch with Bandzoogle, and they've got a partnership with that where there is a discount if you are a DistroKid member. So DistroKid obviously charges $22.99 per year for your account, for your subscription, and we give you 7% off with these links. So give them a scan. So we're going to leave it there for today. I just obviously wanted to go over how I could actually take a piece of audio like a live stream, chop it up into its bits, and then release it. And that's exactly what I've done twice with Looping My Brain and Looping My Brain again. If you are watching this on the replay and you're thinking, I need to ask JP a question about DistroKid, then put it in the comment section underneath. And if you have really found value out of this, then give this a thumbs up, smash that like button, as they all say, apparently. And if you really, really like this, then what you can do is you can obviously send me a super thanks, which is like smashing the like button, but then obviously sending me a bit of money. If you want to really support me and really want to support the channel, then we now have the How to Loop Like a Pro course, which has now been discounted down to cheaper than most pedals, or cheaper than most pedals, at £48. Now I know it says it used to be $199, and it did, because it was 2 courses smashed into one at basically... well, it should be 198, but anyway, who's counting? So less than basically, £48 is around $60-ish. I think it's 61 if I was being obvious in the US. So £48, and you're getting a huge course about how to loop like a pro, right from the very beginning to some really cool advanced setups, no matter whether you're on a pedal, whether you're on a tabletop looper, or if you're on an app as well. And there is stuff in there for things like using an app, because it's about the technique of how you loop, not what you're looping with. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much, obviously, for joining us if you're watching live. Thank you, Pierce, and thank you to those who have been chatting away as well. And if you have got some questions about either releasing music, then drop us obviously a comment. Have you released music through DistroKid? I hope you have. And are you planning on releasing things in the new year? Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.